Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I am audible. And we were learning on saying please. Uh, okay, regarding the lesson, this lesson has certain difficult words. It has certain complex sentences. So might be any one of you, many of you might be feeling that this is a little difficult, but we have not completed the lesson yet. My only request is to understand it properly. This might be a little difficult language, but then it is quite easy. At the end of the day, I can say is the writer is interested in telling us how good manners and how very well behaved people matter a lot in our life. How he gives an example, he begins the lesson by giving an example of a lift man. A liftman who refused to take a passenger to the top floor just because that person did not say top please. So just because he did not use please, the liftman was not happy with him. Though there is no law, though there is no particular law or rules or regulations to formulate anyone's behavior or to teach us, to tell us that we should use good manners, we should use please and thank you a lot. Still, the writer says that there are certain words such as thank you and please. We get the small change with which we pay our way, you know, as social beings. We become better people, better social people if we use such words. They are actually the small courtesies. They are the little courtesies by which we keep the machine of life oiled and running sweetly. These are the words that actually tell us, make us, they show us, they showcase us, they present us as good human beings, social beings. That's what the writer wants to say. And they put our intercourse upon the basis of a friendly cooperation on easy give and take. मतलब हमारा जो भी रोज बरोज का व्यवहार है, हमारी जो रोज बरोज की बातचीत करने के तरीके हैं, उसमें अगर वी यूज सच वर्ड्स प्लीज एंड थैंक यू, they become good or easy give and take, instead of on upon instead of on the basis of superiors dictating to inferiors. अगर हम सुपीरियर और जैसे इंफीरियर से बात करते हैं, अगर हम वैसे बात करें तो शायद हमारा काम जो है थोड़ा सा मुश्किल हो जाता है. So rather, instead of wishing to command anyone, let us learn to request, let us learn to ask, let us learn to show good feeling, so that there are minimum of conflicts that take place. That's what the writer wants to say. Then he goes on to give an example of a bus conductor who actually paid for the writer was actually traveling by bus someday, and he did not have any money. The bus conductor gave him the tickets, he paid on behalf of the writer, and he even did not show any air of arrogance. And even later on, the writer says that this was a person who was, with old people, he was as considerate as a son, with children, he was solicitous as a father, and with young people, he was full of enthusiasm and joy and jest. So all these things greatly affected the writer, and he was so happy to travel into the bus while this person was the conductor, that he says that in short, I found that he irradiated such an atmosphere of good temper and kindliness that a journey with him was a lesson in natural courtesy and good manners. For me, whenever I used to journey with him, I always found that the journey with him was a journey in natural courtesy and good manners. It taught me all the times how to be good mannered, how to be courteous, you know. So this is what he learned from the example of this liftman. You should all write this as a question in your notebook. Enumerate the writer's experience, enumerate, enumerate the author's experience, author apostrophe s, author's experience of traveling with traveling with the good bus conductor, the good bus conductor, and and comment on comment on the lesson that he learned, and comment on the lesson that he learned. So in all the classes, the students have, there is only one thing that they have to say, ma'am, please give us the important questions and answers, that's it. So this is my answer to all of them, that I keep giving the questions and their answers as well while I'm teaching. So the only thing that you have to do is to be regular in the classes and to keep a note of all the material that I give. Separately, I'm not going to give anything, only if I find it necessary. Otherwise, I do share everything. All the things that we learn, we keep learning how to write the answers of the questions. I give you questions, I tell you how to write the answer. That's it, right? Okay, so let us move ahead then. What struck me particularly was the ease with which, simplicity with which he got through his work. He got through his work. He did his work so easily. He did his work. This actually struck me a lot. This surprised me a lot. This always mattered a lot with me. If bad manners are infectious, infectious means something that infects you. If bad manners are infectious, so also are good manners. Also good manners are. If we encounter incivility, most of us are apt to become uncivil. But it is an unusually uncouth person, uncouth mane, bad mannered person, who can be disagreeable with sunny people. That means अगर हम इनसिविलिटी, असभ्यता किसी को दिखाए तो ऑब्वियसली वो भी हमारे साथ असभ्य ही बनेंगे. लेकिन अगर कोई सनी है, अगर कोई खुश मिजाज है, अगर कोई खुश है, हैप्पी है, उसके साथ बैड मैनर्ड बनना बहुत मुश्किल, बहुत कम देखने को मिलता है. इट इज विथ मैनर्स एज विद द वेदर. Nothing clears up my spirits like a fine day, said Keats. So Keats is a very well-known romantic poet who once said in one of the poems, "Nothing clears up my spirits like a fine day." एक अच्छे दिन जितना अच्छा मेरी जितना मेरे को खुश करने वाला और कुछ नहीं है, said Keats. And a cheerful person descends on even the gloomiest of us with something of the benediction of a fine day. So the writer says that a cheerful person actually can do the same. I mean, benediction of a fine day. Benediction माने blessing of a fine day. तो एक अच्छा व्यक्ति अगर हमको मिल जाए, तो वो ग्लूमीएस्ट ऑफ अस, हम में से अगर कोई दुखी में से दुखी भी क्यों ना हो, वो एक अच्छा दिन हमको दिला देता है. अगर एक अच्छा व्यक्ति हमको मिल जाए पूरे दिन में, तो बुरे से बुरा दिन भी अच्छा हो जाता है, फाइन डे हो जाता है. And so it was always fine weather on the polite conductor's bus, and his own civility, his conciliatory address, and good humored conciliatory money, trying to win friendly feelings. किसी की अच्छी feelings, किसी के अच्छे किसी के दोस्ती win करना, that is conciliatory address, and good humored bearing infected his passengers. तो राइटर कहते हैं कि इट इज इन्फेक्शुअस, बीइंग गुड मैनर्ड, बीइंग अ पर्सन विद गुड मैनर्स इज ऑलवेज इन्फेक्शुअस. मीन्स इफ यू आर गुड मैनर्ड टू अदर्स, द अदर्स वुड श्योरली बी गुड मैनर्ड टू यू. वो आपके साथ अच्छे से ही बिहेव करेंगे. कॉन्सिलिएटरी एड्रेस अगर आप किसी को करते हैं, गुड ह्यूमर्ड बिहेवियर, बेरिंग अगर आप दूसरों के साथ करते हैं, तो वो इन्फेक्ट करता ही है सामने वाले को. सामने वाला भी आपसे उतनी ही अच्छी सिविलिटी से पेश आएगा. So that polite bus conductor actually taught this lesson to him. So the question that I gave you, the example of that bus conductor, and what moral lesson did he learn from it? So the polite conductor taught him this lesson, that if you address someone with conciliatory behavior and good humored bearing, the others will be infected. तो अगर आपको अच्छा एटमोस्फियर बनाना है अपने आसपास, तो दूसरों के साथ अच्छे रहो. इन लाइटनिंग देयर स्पिरिट्स ही लाइटन हिज ओन टास्क. मतलब लोगों को खुश करने में वो एक्चुअली तो अपना ही काम और अच्छे से कर रहा था. अकॉर्डिंग टू द राइटर, यू माइट बी इवन अ बस ओनली अ बस कंडक्टर, बट इवन इन डूइंग दैट जॉब you can do it in such a manner, in such a humor, in a such a polite and kind and happy and good humored manner, that you actually lighten your own task, you do your work very well. So his gaiety was not a wasteful luxury, but a sound investment. Gaiety, happiness, joyfulness was not a wasteful luxury. वो दूसरों के साथ अच्छा बन के कोई वेस्टफुल लग्जरी नहीं दे रहा था, वेस्ट नहीं कर रहा था कोई. तो मतलब कई बार होता है ना कि अगर हम दूसरों से अच्छे से पेश आए, तो कोई हमको बोले कि वाई आर यू बीइंग सो नाइस टू अदर्स व्हाइल अदर्स आर नॉट बीइंग नाइस टू यू. तो आप हमेशा ये कह सकते हो कि what I am doing with others is a sound investment. वो एक इन्वेस्टमेंट है. जैसे आप पैसों को इन्वेस्ट करते हो, वैसे आप गुड फीलिंग्स को, अच्छी फीलिंग्स को भी आप इन्वेस्ट करते हो. In fact, it is the biggest thing. It is the biggest investment that you can do. So your gaiety, your helpfulness, your happiness, your joyfulness, your kindness, your politeness, your civility to others is actually a very sound investment, right? So from the same lesson, you can be asked another question, and that is, uh, what is the sound investment? I repeat, what is the sound investment that we can do that we can do according to A.G. Gardiner, according to A.G. Gardiner, and how? What is the sound investment that we can make according to the writer, and how? So what is the sound investment? Being nice to people, being civil to others, having conciliatory address and good humored bearing is not a wasteful luxury. According to the writer, it is a sound investment. How? Then you should give the entire example, the everything that the writer has to say. How the bus conductor was very nice to the writer when he forgot money, and in fact he gave so much of happiness to him that whenever the writer used to travel by bus and saw this person as a bus conductor, he was very happy to find it. He always found the journey very happy and good tempered and very nice journey. So natural courtesy. So in fact, the journey with this bus conductor always was a lesson in natural courtesy and good manners for the writer. So this is what the writer has to. This is what the writer learned from his experience. I hope I am clear. I have missed him. Let us continue now. I have missed him from my bus route of late, but I hope that only means that he has carried his sunshine onto another road. It cannot be too widely diffused in a rather drab world, and I make no apologies for writing a panegyric on an unknown bus conductor. Panegyric means a speech or piece of writing praising someone highly. A speech or piece of writing praising someone highly मतलब किसी को बहुत ही अच्छे से, किसी को admire करते हुए जब कुछ लिखा जाता है, that is called panegyric. तो राइटर कहते हैं कि आई हैव मिस्ड हिम अलॉट इन माय बस जर्नी. जब भी मैं बस से ट्रैवल करता हूँ और वो बस कंडक्टर नहीं होता है, तो आई हैव रादर मिस्ड हिम, मैंने उसको मिस किया है. इतना वो अच्छा था. ऑलमोस्ट ही कैरिड हिज सनशाइन ऑन टू अनदर रोड. वो हमेशा से अपना एक प्रकाश वो लेके चलता था इनटू दिस ड्रैब वर्ल्ड. And the writer says that I will not have any regrets even while if I have to write a speech, a piece in which I will be admiring this bus conductor. If Wordsworth could gather lessons of wisdom from the poor leech gatherer on the lonely moor, I see no reason why lesser people should not take lessons in conduct from one who shows how a very modest calling may be dignified by good temper and kindly feeling. So the writer says that a very modest calling, modest, बहुत ही humble calling, गुजरान का मतलब प्रोफेशन, बहुत ही छोटा सा एक प्रोफेशन भी कैसे आपको सिखा सकता है, इट कैन बी डिग्निफाइड बाय गुड टेम्पर एंड काइंडली फीलिंग, अच्छे बिहेवियर और अच्छी फीलिंग्स के पाठ आपको पढ़ा सकता है। अगर आप इवन आप एक बस कंडक्टर भी हो तो आप कैसे लोगों में अच्छाई फैला सकते हो। तो दिस इज द बिगेस्ट एग्जांपल ऑफ दैट। तो राइटर कहते हैं कि वर्ड्सवर्थ, विलियम वर्ड्सवर्थ वाज अ ग्रेट इंडियन सॉरी इंग्लिश पोएट, जिन्होंने एक कविता लिखी थी ऑन द लोनली मूर, ऑन द लोनली मूर, जिसमें उन्होंने एक लीच गैदरर जो फल इकट्ठा करता है, ऐसा एक लीच गैदरर के ऊपर एक अगर कविता लिखी थी। तो राइटर कहते हैं कि मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है इस बस कंडक्टर के ऊपर एक पूरा पीस लिखने में, जो कि अपने अच्छे बिहेवियर से, अच्छे मैनर से लोगों को अच्छाई सिखाता था। It is a matter of great agreement that, general agreement that the war has had a chilling effect upon those little everyday civilities of behavior that sweeten the general air. We must get those civilities back if we are to make life kindly and tolerable for each other. हमें एक अच्छाई सीखनी चाहिए अगर हम जीवन को अच्छा बनाना चाहते हैं, काइंडली एंड टॉलरेबल फॉर ईच अदर। वी कैन नॉट गेट देम बैक बाय इन्वोकिंग द लॉ। हम चाहे कितनी भी लड़ाइयां क्यों ना कर ले, लेकिन उन लड़ाइयों से कोई भी सिविलिटीज ऑफ बिहेवियर पे कोई असर नहीं होता है। लड़ाइयां चाहे कितनी भी क्यों ना हो जाए, कितना ही बड़ा विश्व युद्ध क्यों ना हो जाए, उससे लोगों की अच्छाइयां नहीं बढ़ती है। अच्छाइयां कैसे बढ़ती है? ये एवरीडे फीलिंग, एवरीडे सिविलिटी एंड काइंडली टॉलरेबल बिहेवियर, उसी से अच्छाइयां बढ़ती है। वी कैन नॉट गेट देम बैक बाय इन्वोकिंग द लॉ। द राइटर सेज कि हम कायदे को आगे करके, मतलब गवर्नमेंट चाहे कितने ही कायदे क्यों ना बनाए, उन कायदों से हम लोगों को अच्छाई नहीं सिखा सकते, उसके लिए हमें ही अच्छा बनना पड़ेगा। The policeman is a necessary symbol and the law is a necessary institution for a society that is still somewhat lower than the angels. But the law can only protect us against material attack, nor will the liftman's way of meeting moral affront by physical violence help us to restore the civilities. I suggest to him that he would have had a more subtle and effective revenge if he had treated the gentleman who would not say please with elaborate politeness. तो राइटर कहते हैं कि कोई कितना ही बुरा हमारे साथ क्यों बिहेव ना कर ले, हम उसको अच्छा नहीं बना सकते। दैट इज नॉट पॉसिबल फॉर अस। उसके लिए कोई कायदा नहीं है। उसका एक ही तरीका है, यू ट्राई टू बी मोर पोलाइट विद देम। मतलब वो कहते हैं कि वो लिफ्टमैन भी जिसने उस पैसेंजर को लिफ्ट में से बाहर धकेल दिया, वो तरीका सही नहीं है। Writer says, I suggest to him that he would have had a more subtle and effective revenge if he had treated the gentleman who would not say please with elaborate politeness. उसको और politeness दिखा के, अगर वो प्लीज कहने को मना कर रहा है तो उसको और पोलाइट बना बिहेव उसके साथ करके वो उसको सिखा सकता था कि तुम चाहे कैसे भी हो, बट आई एम अ वेरी पोलाइट पर्सन। तो पीपल माइट बी वेरी बैड, दे माइट बी वेरी difficult to work with, but you should not leave your goodness, you should not leave your politeness. He would have had the victory not only over the boor means a rough and a bad mannered person, but over himself, and that is the victory that counts. Victory, विजय, विजय वो काउंट करता है, वो मैटर करता है, जिसमें अगर वो अच्छे से बिहेव करता तो वो उस रूड बंदे को भी सिखा सकता था कि कैसे बिहेव करना, और वो अपने आप को भी सेटिस्फाई कर सकता था कि वो चाहे कैसा भी क्यों ना हो, आई एम अ गुड पर्सन। Okay, so the polite man may lose the material advantage, but he always has the spiritual victory. Polite man, जो व्यक्ति नम्र है, जो अच्छा है, he might lose material advancement. उसको भौतिक सुख जो है वो शायद कम मिल जाए, but he always has the spiritual victory. लेकिन आध्यात्मिक तरीके से वो हमेशा से विजयी होता है, अपने आप को वो और सेटिस्फाइड करता है। जो भी व्यक्ति देता है, जो भी व्यक्ति लोगों को मदद करता है, वो व्यक्ति शायद वो बहुत पैसे वाला ना भी हो, लेकिन फिर भी he is always spiritually, he is always victorious. I commend to the liftman a story of Chesterfield. अब वो एक स्टोरी कहते हैं चेस्टरफील्ड की. In his time, the London streets were without the pavements of today, and the man who took the wall had the driest footing. I never give the wall to a scoundrel, said a man who met Chesterfield one day in the street. I always do, said Chesterfield, stepping with a bow into the road. I hope the liftman will agree that his revenge was much more sweet than if he had flung the fellow into the mud. So this is an example, that the writer gives. Took the wall, the man who took the wall. To take the wall means to take the inner side of a wall, that is the next side to the wall. अब चेस्टरफील्ड जो है एक बार पेवमेंट मतलब रास्ते से चल रहा था. उस समय पे पेवमेंट नहीं हुआ करते थे. तो वहां पे एक बंदा जो है वो दीवार के बिल्कुल बाजू में से चल रहा था और उसको चेस्टरफील्ड को उसने बोला, आई नेवर गिव द वॉल टू अ स्काउंड्रेल. मैं किसी भी स्काउंड्रेल को कभी भी रास्ता नहीं देता हूँ. तो चेस्टरफील्ड ने हंसते हुए कहा, बट आई ऑलवेज गिव. मैं हमेशा देता हूँ. मतलब तुम ही पकड़ो, दीवार को पकड़ के तुम ही चलो. मतलब अगर कोई बहुत सुपीरियोरिटी से, बहुत ही रूडली, बहुत ही बैड मैनर से अगर आपसे बात करे और कहे कि मैं तुम जैसों के मतलब मैं तुम जैसों को ये रास्ता नहीं दूंगा, तो ऐसे स्काउंड्रल को मैं रास्ता नहीं देता हूँ, तो चेस्टरफील्ड ने उल्टा उसको बोला, आई ऑलवेज डू, लेकिन मैं तो स्काउंड्रल को दे देता हूँ. मतलब यू आर स्काउंड्रल अकॉर्डिंग टू द चेस्टरफील्ड. मतलब यहाँ पे ये चेस्टरफील्ड का एग्जांपल दे के राइटर कहते हैं कि उस पैसेंजर को धकेल नहीं देना था लिफ्टमैन को, रादर उसको और पोलाइटनेस से उसके साथ बिहेव करना था. उससे शायद बस कंडक्टर को रियलाइज हो जाता कि ही वॉज रॉन्ग, he was not correct, right? According to the writer, so he here gives two examples. The one is the example of the liftman, another is the example of the bus conductor. और बाकी ये दोनों examples, these are the examples of courtesy, जिसमें the writer wants to prove that civility is not a law. It cannot be imposed. We are not bound to, be good to others. But if we are good to others, no law can compel us to say please at all. But this is a social practice which is very old and which is very sacred, maybe more sacred than any other law. And if we learn this, if we can do this, if we can say please and thank you, these are just the small changes, but they can teach us to be better social beings, better human beings. These are just the little courtesies by which we keep the machine of life smooth, oiled, and it can run sweetly if we are polite to others, if we are good to others. So I think now that the lesson is completed, I hope now it is clear. Now you all are able to understand how, with a simple example of a humble bus conductor, here the writer, Gardiner, brings home the fact that having a good nature and being civil goes a long way in making life that is much better and sweet. जीवन अगर आप बुरे बन के, बैड मैनर्ड बन के, रफ बन के, बूर बन के भी अगर आप रहोगे, जियोगे, तो भी आप जीवन तो जियोगे ही, ऐसा नहीं कि मर जाओगे. बट the writer says that if you are good to others, if you show good manners to others, if you are being civil to others, your life will become much better and much sweeter. Okay. The author here points out that bad manners are antisocial, even if they are not considered criminal in the eyes of the law. मतलब कई सारी ऐसी बातें हैं जो एंटी सोशल है, मतलब वो असामाजिक है. भले ही कायदे के मुताबिक वो गलत नहीं है, पर फिर भी किसी के साथ रूडली पेश आना, किसी को धमकाना, किसी के साथ बुरी तरीके से बिहेव करना इज एंटी सोशल अकॉर्डिंग टू द राइटर. So he has very aptly commented on good and bad manners as being contagious. Contagious means infectious. मतलब अगर आप किसी से बुरे बुरे तरीके से बिहेव करो ना, तो आप वो सामने वाला भी आपसे वैसे ही बुरे तरीके से बिहेव करेगा. और अगर आप किसी से अच्छे से बिहेव करो, गुड मैनर्ड बन के रहो, तो वो भी अच्छे से बिहेव करेगा. So these are infectious. So if bad manners of one person influence others and make them rude and ill-tempered, good manners of one person also affect others and make them be polite and kind in return. Right? So this is what the writer has to say on saying please. How saying please is just a small exchange of courtesy, and still it is so important in our life, and how we should never forget this small courtesy. I think with this we have completed the lesson, and now we should move on to the MCQs first. First, bad manners are an example of this type of offense. A. Legal. B. Moral. C. Professional. D. Personal. B. Moral. This is not punishable under law. A. Being discourteous. B. Entering a country without a passport. C. Riding on a motorcycle without helmet. D. Wasting water. A. Being discourteous. What is an example of courtesy? A. Helping an elderly person to get in the car. B. Getting your pet to learn how to stay quiet. C. Kicking a stray animal. D. Cooking food daily. A. Helping an elderly person to get in the car. Next, how did the liftman react to the person when the latter refused to say please to him? D. Threw him out of the lift. Next, the author says that please and thank you are C. Like small change with which we pay our way as social beings. Next, the author was particularly impressed by a civil and kind act of this person. Bus conductor. D. The stream of general life gets polluted by one's behavior by bad behavior. A. Next, the law does not compel me to say that I shall not wax my moustache or dye my hair or wear ringlets down my back. This means that D. It is perfectly fine by law for anyone to do exactly as they like with their looks. Why was the author overwhelmed by the bus conductor? See, because he was not just good natured, he was kind to everyone on the bus every single day. Next, how, according to the author, should the liftman have handled the impolite person who would not say please to take a subtle and effective revenge? B. He should have had treated the gentleman with elaborate politeness. B. Okay, so I think I have given you the answers of all the MCQ questions from this lesson. I have given you the long questions, the answers, how to write their answers, that also I have told you. Okay, so I think here we complete the third lesson as well. So I think we have seen three lessons and three poems. And now, I mean, in certain classes, all things will die. That poem is left to be done, that I will teach perhaps to some students. Uh, but otherwise, we have completed all the lessons and poems, and now dialogue writing, paragraph writing, and email writing. Only that is left. Okay, so I will be ending the class then. Thank you.